Welcome back. Hope you are having a great Friday. This is Power Breakfast on Citizen TV, and on Fridays we like to talk fashion. It's Fashion Friday here, this morning we're going to be talking a little bit about the do's and don'ts when it comes to fashion accessories. I've got a very stylish and a very talented designer here in studio to tell us more about her work and about accessories in general. So I'll let you introduce yourself. Go ahead.
My name is Chepkemboy Mangira. I run Own Your Culture, which is focused on pre-colonial designs from pre-colonial Kenya.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very interesting work, and I see that you brought your work with you, so I appreciate that. How did you start your fashion house? What was your inspiration as a young person? You know, we've been accused of not owning our culture. So tell us a little bit about your backstory.
Ever since I was a child, I've always been interested in the traditional history of Africa, especially when we learned that we came from Egypt all the way to the migration all the way to Kenya. And I've always been interested, how could the Egyptians create those pieces? We must have carried something as well. So I was interested in the Maasai, and I saw that if the Maasai could create something, what about the other 44 tribes of Kenya? There must have been something behind that. So I'd go behind the scenes, I'd go research, I'd speak to people, and they would all tell me that these were these beautiful accessories before colonization. So that's where the inspiration began.
And when did you begin?
It began in the year 2014. It started out as a movement where we used to just have an online campaign and educate people about the importance of taking pride in our culture. And then slowly we started getting inspiration and creating new pieces.
Yeah. So you're wearing some amazing pieces yourself. Is that all of your work that you're wearing right now?
Yes.
Do you feel that young people particularly have been, you know, responsive to owning our culture and sort of in the prints that you're wearing with your trousers and everything else that you're wearing? Do you feel like we've kind of embraced that more?
I feel like when we started our campaign, it's been more, people have started receiving it even more, because now you find that many people in events and just walking around in town wear these traditional pieces from different communities. So it's really exciting, and we've also seen a growth of new designers inspired by their own cultures.
Right.
So that has been really interesting for us.
The other thing I'd like to get your take on is our cultures sort of being shipped off to the West. Because we've seen Maasai blankets on, you know, New York Fashion Week, and we've seen all these sorts of pieces inspiring some really big international brands. What are your thoughts on that?
I think we should take it, we should own it ourselves first, because when they take it outside, we lose a bit of control around it. So that's the importance of why we created Own Your Culture, so that people own their stories and be proud of their stories, so that we are the ones who are exporting and telling our stories the way we want them to be told. Okay.
All right, let's talk fashion accessories in general, because I am a person who does not accessorize very much, because I'm lazy probably, but I'm also maybe because I don't know how to put the right things together. So when you talk accessories, what are we talking about in general?
Accessories usually means necklaces, armbands, anklets, rings, earrings. So for someone who likes, from my experience, for someone who's very simple, we always give them earrings, because earrings are very subtle. But I think that's where my accessories end. Okay. So for example, like these earrings here are inspired by the Mayo community, just the way it is. Wow, those are beautiful. Just the way it is. Yeah, that is something that the Meru community would wear a lot. And of course, this is the Maasai, which is a bit more exaggerated. Right. And these ones are the Kuria earrings. Okay. So those are inspired by the Kuria people, but they're very minimalistic, and they're very easy for someone who doesn't like a lot of screaming pieces. Yeah. Yeah. And when we talk accessories, you know, somebody might hear this conversation and think this is just for women. Women are the only ones who, you know, wear all that extra stuff. A guy just puts on a T-shirt and walks out the door and he's fine. How is it that men are able to accessorize and step their looks up from just the average? Well, ideally, some of these pieces will actually be worn by men. For example, those earrings were worn by Kuria men, and these headpieces commonly worn by Turkana and Pokot men. So, but for trying to make the modern day man wear these accessories, that's has been quite a challenge. It's a bit tough. Yes, but for men, minimalism usually works a lot. Maybe just a watch here, maybe a simple necklace here and there, or having a watch with beads. So at least that's one way that they could. Yeah, or like a nice bracelet. I've seen, you know, those Kenya bracelets. You can get your name on it. That's pretty cool as well. When you talk accessories, we're talking, or when we're talking about putting a look together, it's head to toe, right? You've got something going on with your hair. Oh yes, these Talk to us about that. Yes, these were actually worn as earrings in the past on the elongated earlobes. So in our business for Own Your Culture, we looked at these pieces. We're like, okay, we can't really force people to elongate their earlobes anymore, but we could add them to our hair, and they become a really cool accessories. And these could also be worn by men with dreadlocks. Just maybe getting, you know, of course, one of our common pieces is the Rasta colors for men, or the more dull, or the blue colors, or the white colors. Yeah.
So for you to be a young person and a designer and fully accessorized, do you ever get questions about the pieces you have on, or, you know, why are you wearing that? Or because, you know, we've also been accused of being a little bit too Western in our dressing and in how we put our looks together. So do you ever get those types of comments when you're just out and about?
Yes,
in
your
day-to-day life?
Yes,
What's that like?
Sometimes, yeah, it's sometimes it's a good thing, because I get to educate people about what I do, and sometimes I even sell pieces of myself. Even when I was coming here, someone just bought some pieces of me. But then sometimes, you know, I'd get those questions from other people who are like, oh, are you a traditional dancer or something? I'm like, okay, not really.
Not really.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're accessorizing, it's also important to consider the occasion of wherever it is that that you're going. So do you find that, especially these traditional African pieces, are they being accepted in the average workplace in this day and age? I mean, if I just show up to my 9-to-5 job and I'm wearing something like this, is that a problem?
For some offices, it is a problem. So that's why we'd advise for like maybe these small pieces, our earrings, the brass earrings or the hair pieces. You can just wear like maybe one piece, or maybe we can make for you a necklace in a maybe dull color. That's what has worked for most of our customers.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's also such a thing as over-accessorizing, right? Because I was reading up on accessorizing and learning that there are focal points, and you shouldn't have too many focal points going on. You know, the eye should be drawn to 1, 2, or 3 focal points. So what does over-accessorizing mean? How does it happen? And how would you advise someone to maybe tone it down a little bit?
Well, that's a bit different for us, because we're inspired by the African culture, and traditionally our people would over-accessorize. You know, they'd have like maybe 3 headpieces. Their necks were always covered, their arms were always covered, their fingers were always covered, their legs. So it's just for us, it's always maybe just strike a balance when you're using the colors, or maybe the metals. For example, if you're wearing brass, stick to brass pieces all the way. If you're wearing beads, stick to beads of similar colors or complementing colors.
Okay, all right, that makes a lot of sense. To someone who this isn't part of their day-to-day life, they've never even thought of accessorizing, or what that means, or what it adds to your outfit, or you know, the fact that you're doing traditional wear, where would that person begin for you?
We'd start them off with, again, our brass pieces. Yeah, because we find brass pieces
solid.
Yeah, it's a solid piece, and for many people, it's easy for them to accept it. So we start them off with that. And then also we do a lot of photography and marketing on our social media. So we tend to start seeing people starting to accept the idea. They're like, oh, if you can wear this, you can actually pull it out. So I think even me, I can pull it out.
Yeah.
So we really started them off with like brass pieces, and then maybe a pair of earrings here, one necklace here, and then slowly they start to build a collection.
Right. And when they're more comfortable with the colors, because there's a lot of vibrancy happening here. You know, when we've, you know, from childhood, we were taught, you know, to match things.
Yes.
Make sure your shoes match your shirt, and your pants match this and that. But when it comes to these pieces, I mean, you can mix and match, right? It doesn't have to be so matchy-matchy. Talk to me about that.
So again, like I said, we usually go with maybe like the little colors that match. For example, my necklace has a bit of red, my headpiece has a bit of red. So I use that as a guideline. You just use like little colors that you can mix and match together.
Right.
Yes.
So there's no definite rule against, because like your trousers are printed.
Yes.
And then you have all these other different prints going on. So with mixing prints, what's the guidelines there?
With mixing prints, when it comes to accessorizing, you can work again with silver pieces or gold pieces or brass pieces. Or if it's a very busy print, we'd advise for maybe a monocolored piece of jewelry. So if you take maybe like a white necklace or a plain black necklace, plain yellow, plain green, depending on the pieces. And then again, for something like my outfit, because I'm wearing prints and then I have like a lot of accessories on my head, I try to go with a white shirt. So white shirt sort of balances it here.
Okay. All right. So have at least one piece.
Yeah, at least one piece. that balances it out. Yes.
So you're not screaming
yes.
color, vibrancy, and patterns. All right. Well, that's been really informative. What are your social media handles, and where can people find more of your work?
People can find more of our work on at Own Your Culture. That's OWNYOURCULTURE on all our social media. And we also have an event on the 10th of March at the Ngong Racecourse. And the theme is Own Your Culture. So come out in style and dress in your cultural.
What's the event all about? Is it what's going to be happening there?
It's a meetup for different individuals around Nairobi. The entrance is free, and the theme is Own Your Culture. So we're encouraging people to come dressed up in their cultural gear, and whatever that means to them. We want people to predict for themselves. They could also use inspiration from our pages, or they could buy our pieces as well. So we are encouraging people to come dressed in their traditional wear, because we want to keep this culture alive.
Right.
We don't just want to keep it online, we also want to keep it offline.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've mentioned people buying your pieces. I forgot to ask you about the pricing of some of these, if someone might be interested in something that they've seen here today.
For the hair pieces, 100 shillings, and the smaller versions are 50 shillings. For pieces like this, it goes for about 950. So they're pretty affordable.
Yeah.
This goes for 700 shillings. The head pieces, like this one I'm wearing and that one there, that's 800 shillings.
And for someone who wants advice on how to rock them, can you provide that as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, people just have to reach out to us on our social media.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, it was great to meet you, and thank you for bringing more vibrancy to our studio, and hopefully more, especially young people watching today will be inspired to at least have something in your wardrobe that speaks to owning your culture. Thank you so much for making time here for us on Fashion Friday. Power Breakfast does continue. DJ Roy T-Boy is going to be coming up next, and it's time to take it a level up. The hashtag to use right now if you want to send in your musical requests is Level Up Fridays. You can tweet at Willis Aburu, at Roy T-Boy, and use the hashtag Power Breakfast. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.